Hey, babe. What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Jamie. That's me here, okay? We're about to talk about Real Housewives of Orange County. All right. I've been hearing that a lot of these ladies that's on this season, they're new ladies. I've been seeing a lot of comments on Twitter, people saying, oh, I'm not feeling these new ladies or whatever. But mind you, I haven't been watching what the 15 plus seasons in the past, but I will say I am enjoying it. So if it is new ladies, it kind of makes me a bit happy because I'm new to hell. Okay, you feel what I'm saying? Shout out to the people over there in the chat. What's up? Lisa Lee says, yikes, it was messy as hell for Shannon. This is why you can't tell people SHI. You can't. But y'all, I had mixed feelings about the overall situation, but we're gonna talk about it. What's going on, SG? Malik Lennon here for the live. Let me tune my coworkers out. Please tune them out, okay? Because you see them all the time. All right, tune them out. What's up, Onyx? Gina proved Shannon right. Can't trust her. Oh, you feel that way too? Okay. What's up, Spicy Fries? Okay, y'all. So I'm conflicted, but I will tell y'all, if y'all saw my community wall, I am here for Heather Dubrow. I'm here for Miss Gina, honey, and I'm here for Miss Emily. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. And let me tell y'all, I'm gonna talk about it more so towards the end, but I will say this. I was really conflicted. We're gonna talk about Shannon because I kind of felt bad for Shannon. But towards the end, for me, I kind of start side-eyeing Shannon. Okay, we're gonna see the verdict could possibly still be out on Miss Gina. We're gonna see how the rest of the season flows, but I like Gina. I just feel like Gina, wrong place, wrong time, right? So there's that, and I also feel like high key, low key, Gina don't like Shannon like that for real, girl. We may have went on a little trip out there in New York, and we was cool and we saw each other, but girl, we're back over here in Orange County, so don't ever get it twisted, girl. We not friends like that. I don't know who told you we was, but we're really not friends like that. That's what I captured from Gina. So let's go ahead and let me find my notes because those notes there are from last week. So let's get into it. Okay, so the ladies, okay, remember they Miss Heather, I love her house, y'all. I like me some Heather. It's the stunting of it all for me. She is my Kathy Hilton of Orange County, okay, loving it. So the ladies all arrived to Miss Heather Dubrow's house, okay. Jen and Noella cross each other and they have a conversation. But what's interesting for me is that Jen kind of looked down on Noella, looked down on her like, you don't work, so you and I would never have anything in common, honey. I'm a doctor, dear. I work, so the only thing we have in common is oxygen. I said, that's the mean, Jen. That's mean. I mean, if her man want to go out there and work and she get to chill out and sit back, then what's wrong with it, girl? But here's what's funny. Towards the at some point when Miss Jen went to have that sit down with her husband, I was confused, y'all. I felt like, is her husband a stay-at-home dad? Because you over here trying to put down another woman about the fact that she don't work, but your man don't. So then I had to do a little research, and what it seems like is that her husband does work. It seems like he owns a company. Let me see what I put here in my notes because I thought this was interesting. I just have to tell y'all. Let me scroll down to it, girl, and get to it. Where is it? Jen husband. Okay, so he is the president of a company called Hawaii Hideaways, which is a luxury property rental spot. So if y'all was ever to go out there to Hawaii, y'all probably can, rent a little spot over there or whatever like that. So I was like, okay, that's cool, that's cute. Got you. All right, because the way he be around here prancing, walking around with his shirt off, ma'am, holding on to chihuahuas and stuff. Yes, holding on to the chihuahuas and whatever else he got going on. For me, it's like, girl, does that man stay at home? And when your daughter came to complain to you, your daughter complained about you. The daughter did complain about the daddy. Okay, so I'm like, does he still own this company or does he not really do anything? He just move a few things around and have other people do his job. Is he really working? While you over here trying to talk about Miss Noella? Don't come for the only woman with color up there. We watching you, Dr. Jen. Okay, so I just kind of felt the way. Okay, well, Noella's husband filed for a divorce. Girl, he did. He did. But I kind of figured that was going to end up happening the way that she kind of talked about how he's so focused on his job. Like everything is about work, about work, about work. So I think that's going to end up playing out this season. At least I hope he do. If not, baby girl probably got secured for another season when it comes down to this divorce and stuff. Child. You think Heather needs therapy? Why? Shannon has done some dirt in the past seasons. Last night wasn't right. Okay. Only new ladies are Noella and Gina. Okay, I thought so because when I was like, okay, they're showing me flashbacks from Gina and from Emily, but what I wasn't sure was, even though like Heather, they gave us flashbacks of Heather. Heather was also gone for a few seasons, so that's what I was like, So did Gina and Emily, were they gone for a few seasons as well and came back? So I wasn't really sure. Okay, so thanks for clearing that up for me, JB. I appreciate that. Let me see what else y'all saying. Hey, it's Latasha. What's going on? Noella is the one that you can see down here on this image with the poofy hair in the corner. That's Noella. And that's Nicole's friend. And I thought it was so funny for her to be Nicole's friend. But when and we're gonna get to that again. But when Emily and Gina came back inside, she was all praising them and hugging them and stuff like that. I said, girl, Nicole gonna have an issue with this. Nicole is gonna be mad with you. These women just snapped off on this woman, and then you over here hugging up on them. I'm like, we're gonna see how this friendship goes, child. Who was for? You talking about Miss? What's her name? Miss Noella husband was focused on another woman. Ooh, child, embarrassing. Not too high strong, y'all. I liked Heather until Heather made me feel a different way so far, because Heather gives me a person that's not full of the BS, and she's a straight shooter. She gonna tell you how she feels. She right out the gate. Like, I like that about her, right? But let's hop into this review, because I gotta get to the end of it so I can tell y'all my thoughts about Heather sitting down with Whitney and Gina and how the things, changed for me. So let's talk. Okay, so Shannon is proving that she does not stand Nicole. At least that's what I think. She talks about how Nicole sued Terry, which was 16 years ago. But my question was, why bring it up now? If it happened 16 years ago, like, why are you bringing this to the forefront? Because I was thinking that it was a situation that was recent, right? So, like I said, I'm here for Heather Dubrow, baby, because it was the flex for me, because she had the ladies go out there and hit the bong or whatever it was, and the sound just resonated. And here go Noella talking about she felt it in her vagina or something like that. I said, okay, girl, I guess, honey, you're a very sexual being. Okay. So then Gina talks with Emily about Shannon being fake. Now, mind y'all, Gina, you was wrong, girl, because I told y'all Gina ain't really been seeing it for Shannon, even though she sat herself up there at that table and she was all good with Shannon and trying to be in fancy. Shannon thinking that they done bonded since everything that happened back in New York, and they haven't. Gina was never seeing it for her, because I feel like Gina felt like, girl, if you already crossed me, then I'm still side-eyeing you. If you can go to one of my best friends on this show and talk about me to her, I'm not going to sit up here and trust you 100%. So that's what I was getting from Miss Gina. She also goes on to talk about how she didn't think that Nicole did anything. She didn't think that Nicole, I guess, was involved with suing. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I mean, we find out that she was, but if you didn't, now as I'm talking to y'all now, it's making me think, well, Gina, if you didn't think that she had anything to do with it, why did you go and tell Heather that if you didn't think she did? So it does, as y'all say, come off as though you was really trying to get back at Shannon, because you're not really over the fact that she was talking down about you to her friend, to your friend. Yikes. Okay, so then Emily wants to know what does, because Gina also says she likes Heather. She likes Heather a lot. And then Emily was like, oh, really? Well, then tell me what you like about it. What Drake said, then tell me what you like about. That's what Miss Emily wanted to know. What you like about her. And then Emily goes on to compliment Nicole on her boob job. Now, see, this is when I feel like Emily was being messy as hell. I don't care. Emily, girl, you was messy. That was messy as hell, talking about this lady boobs and stuff, because she knew she was trying to get to the point of the conversation, because this right here leads Nicole to saying like, oh, girl, I got history. I got some information, not great information about my boobs. Girl, it's a long story. I have to tell y'all another time. Girl, Emily, y'all really did come to this lady house and come to this party with an agenda, which was to out Miss Shannon. Y'all both made a decision together that y'all was not going to keep this in-house. Y'all knew that. And shame on Shannon, too, for knowing how they are and still willing to give them this information and confide in them. But okay. So what else happened? Gina pulls Heather to the side to tell Heather about Shannon saying that Nicole sued her husband. And the gag for me was the fact that Miss Heather, how you did not know this? But obviously the husband didn't know, and we learned exactly why they did not know. So Gina says that she felt as though this was absurd as she's talking to Heather, and she didn't want to have anything to do with it. But she wanted to bring it to her because if it isn't true, or if it is true, I'm sorry, she didn't want Heather to continue to look silly complimenting Nicole the way that she has been complimenting her, knowing that the whole time this woman has backstabbed your family. So Gina went to Heather out of some type of concern for her, right? Meanwhile, child, you got Emily going to Shannon while she's sitting with Nicole. And I just kind of felt like this too. Like Emily, to me, slick kind of threw Gina under the bus by telling Shannon that she's having a sit down with Heather, which also I understand everybody's point, the people that are like on Shannon's side, because when you listen to it and you break it down, it does seem like they came there with a plan and they did some things for camera time. Yikes. Okay. Let's keep going. Emily says, no, so Shannon says, oh, girl, that's so not cool. Like, don't even bring that up. Emily says, girl, Gina over there talking to Heather right now. So I don't know what you mean. Don't bring it up, but I'm trying to throw you a little piece of a bone, honey. And then Jen asked her, girl, what is you talking about? Because Dr. Jen over there confused. She wants to be in the know. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Okay, so Shannon says, girl, y'all promised me y'all was not gonna say anything. Emily said, girl, listen, I know I promised, but I lied, girl. I lied, honey, and my homegirl in there right now telling your business that I think you need to run and go tell your business before she could tell it. Okay, I'm trying to help you. So Shannon says, I need to go talk to my friend. Emily said, girl, yes, go do that. That's what you do. Now, while Miss Shannon is headed over there to talk to Heather, Gina is already telling Heather, like, she didn't know what Shannon was planning on doing with this information. And I know I wrote this down a little later. I may say it again, but I was like, what you mean you didn't know what she would do with this information? And I started thinking about it throughout the episode. I was like, you know what? She could have been holding that information and waiting to see how Nicole was going to act and be throughout the season. So should she and Nicole not be getting along or something like that? I feel like she was holding this information close to her vest, to where if the whole agenda was never for Emily and Gina to tell the information, it could have possibly been for Shannon to spill this information out at a later time. At least that's what it is that I'm thinking, right? So there's that. What else happened? Shannon goes to interrupt Gina and Heather, and she says, Gina, girl, really? That's what we doing? And she tells Shannon tells Heather, girl, I need to talk to you, honey. Girl, you gotta stop right now, girl. We have to have a conversation, girl. I gotta talk. Okay. She says, when you was hanging with old girl and she was your friend, I was thinking that this girl was the one that sued your husband, honey. And meanwhile, we can see what Emily over there talking to Nicole and tells her how Shannon said that, girl, you sued the Dubrows. Like, this is all the information that came out from Shannon. So Emily was on her messy that night. Emily wanted this information to come out, girl. She was on your head top, Miss Shannon, girl. They had a plan. So meanwhile, Gina tells Shannon she made it way bigger than it had to be, meaning Shannon. Gina tells Heather that Shannon made it a way bigger issue than what it had to be. And she also goes on to tell her that you always do this, though. Okay, you always make things bigger than what they have to be, Shannon. So Shannon says, girl, you promised me you wouldn't say anything. And then Gina says, girl, I didn't even know what the issue was when I made that promise. And she told her to not put it off on her because you the one who didn't want to keep it real with your quote unquote friend. Don't put this off on me, dear. So Heather removes herself from the table. Let me tell y'all something. Heather is queen of excuse me. Heather is queen of I'll be right back. Heather is funny, okay? So I'm conflicted. This is what I put at the time. Y'all know RHOC's, now I know, okay, so this is what I said. I said I'm conflicted, okay? Because Shannon, you could have called your friend, okay? You could have called your friend and you could have gotten this information out if you feel as though Heather is truly your friend and you are trying to build y'all relationship in a positive place than where it has been in the past. However, at the same time, I was conflicted because I was like, regardless of what she was talking about, Gina, it was like she confided in y'all. Y'all gave her y'all word. So the thing for me is be quiet. Don't tell her stuff. Give her the opportunity to tell it herself, right? So I was a little conflicted because I saw where Shannon was coming from. a bit, but then I also saw where Gina was coming from, meaning if this is your friend, then you should have told your friend. You should have never told us before you told me. And I had to think about that, like, as a friend. If somebody knows something about me, don't go tell these other ladies in the group when you already have a relationship with me. Come and tell me if you that concerned and you wondering that much, like how you don't come to me and tell me. You go and you tell them. So I felt like, that was not right of Shannon. And I felt like it gave Heather range to really be upset with her. Right? Because Heather was being kind. She was being genuine. Heather invited this woman to her house. She didn't have to do that at all. Heather came back onto the show being open and willing to start a relationship with Shannon. But Shannon, this is what you do right out the gate. Okay, I thought you may have changed all of these years, but you haven't. So I kind of see, what I'm saying, where Heather was coming from. Shannon went to go find Heather, but Heather did not want to talk. Girl, Heather didn't even want the cameras there. She was like, baby, cut, baby. We're not going to talk about nothing now. Meanwhile, this is when Emily and Gina over there talking with Nicole, baby. And let me tell you, this is when I became Team Emily all day. Because Nicole, you was the one that was out of line. And you want to try to get an attitude with this woman. So Nicole says that she was forced into a lawsuit because they wanted to know what was that about. She said she was forced into a lawsuit. This is what's confusing to me, y'all, when it comes to Nicole. Y'all let me know your thoughts. I feel like you couldn't be forced into something if you would have never went to go seek it to begin with. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like she went out seeking an attorney because she was feeling away, but she just wanted to probably weigh her options. And then she says that the attorneys pressured her into this lawsuit. Of course, attorneys are going to give you, like, they're great at negotiation. They're great at talking because they're looking at how is a coin for them. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, anyway, but don't be trying to put this off on the attorneys like the attorneys forced you when you knew good well that this was something that you wanted to do too. So they asked her why she didn't come to Heather with the truth. No, first they said the ladies feel like, yeah, she should have had the conversation with Heather. Why didn't you come to Heather with the truth? Nicole says, listen, I respect your opinion. Emily asked, well, are you going to tell her or whatever like that? And Nicole says, well, we'll figure it out on our own. Okay, then she gets an attitude with Emily and says that, but see, here's the thing, girl, we don't need your opinion. Nobody asked you for your opinion. We don't need your opinion, so you can go on with that. And it's like, why you get an attitude with me, dear? I ain't do nothing. That was you. Don't be getting no attitude with me because you full of SHI and a piece of a tea, girl. Don't do that with me. So Nicole says, no, then that's when she got the attitude. So Nicole, they ended up pretty much getting attitudes with each other, Emily and Nicole. And Emily says, don't get an attitude with me when I've been your friend this whole night. And that's when I holler. And I said, girl, didn't you just meet this lady? And then what's her name? Nicole says, girl, for 20 minutes, girl, I've only known you for 20 minutes. Sit down. And it got so awkward. I think they cut the music and everything, right? And this was just so funny because Emily was like, I am sitting down. And then Gina in the confessional had me hollering because she was like, she's already sitting down. How much more can she sit down if she's already sitting down? All I heard was how much wood could a woodpecker chuck if a woodpecker couldn't chuck wood type thing. And I thought it was so funny to me. So then Nicole, she's about to call Emily stupid, girl. Emily, so I'm like, okay, we see how you handle things when you get caught up in your bullshit. You want to start insulting other people because you're wrong. Got it. Okay. So this is when Emily really got to snapping on her. So I thought it was so funny because she ended up leaving in that moment, right? She walked off and you had Gina still over there talking. She said, no, ma'am, you come with me. You are with me. You come with me. I said, come on, Miss Emily. She was not, girl. Listen, she was ready for that action. Not a wood. A woodpecker. Emily played herself with that friends comment. She did. The sit down is the pipe down. That's what she should have said, girl. Pipe down. Calm down. Shannon is very sneaky. She is good for these games that she plays, and she has always backstabbed Gina. So that's why Gina told Heather, and that's exactly what I figured, because Miss Gina is not over some things that Heather has done to her in her past. Girl, this messy. Okay, she looks sneaky as hell to me. Who looks sneaky, JB? Who looks sneaky? I don't think Heather had any intentions on building a relationship with Shannon. You don't think so? I feel like she did. She invited her into her home. But with you saying that, I will say this with you saying that. She could have also invited her into her home to flex. So let me take that statement back of, well, she invited her into her home and everything, because that right there was pure flexibility. Okay, she was showing just how long her coins stretch and just how far her house goes, baby, because that's a beautiful home. Yikes. Okay, Heather was overboard. Heather watched the past seasons. What else does she need to know? Heather hasn't treated Shannon well since Shannon's first season. They just never really got along. Yikes. Shannon is holding a grudge against Heather, and Gina was looking for a way to get closer to Heather. Lisa, that could be highly true, because she really does like Heather. She does. She said that. Nicole got in Emily's ass, so then Emily brings education. Embarrassing, girl. She did, but I felt like it was, I can't say Nicole fully got in Emily's ass, because Nicole messed up when she told her sit down. And it's like she already sitting down. So you kind of messed up. Like, that's funny. And then you was about to call this lady stupid. No, ma'am. Emily was very nasty to Nicole, then turned around and makes it seem like Nicole was the issue. I feel like Nicole was the issue, though. I don't think that Emily was nasty to her. I think Emily was just calling her out. Like, this is your friend. Like, why you never said anything? Like, number one, the information came from Shannon. That's number one. But is what Shannon's saying true? Yes, it's true. Okay, why you never just tell what you call it that? How long y'all been friends? Oh, been friends about 6 years or so. Why you never told her that? Right? And then you start getting the attitude. For me, I think that Nicole was out of line. Shannon doesn't like Heather from years ago, so she always had a grudge for her. So Shannon was holding on this information so that she can use it against Heather. That's what I was wondering, right? I was wondering if that's what she was doing. At any moment, she was going to drop it, either use it against Heather, I guess. But more so, I was thinking against Nicole, because I felt like, how would it truly affect Heather? You know what I'm saying? Because whether she got sued years and years ago, she's still living lavish. Heather wanted to see Shannon squirm with that house tour, girl, and she was squirming. Do you hear me? I could look at her and tell, baby girl could not take that house. Nicole looks sneaky. Okay, that's what you was talking about. Knowing that woman 6 years and she sued that man exactly and had no intentions on bringing it up ever. But I kind of learned why she didn't bring it up to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't go nowhere. So let's keep going. What else we got? Shannon goes to speak with Noella and feels like Noella felt like Shannon was ambushed. I don't know if ambushed was a good term, because it wasn't like anybody rushed her. But I guess she was ambushed with the information because she didn't expect it to come out. I guess Nicole says that it was rude for her to say what she said. Oh, I think she said she tells Jen that it was rude for basically Emily to talk to her the way that she did. I'm like, girl, it was rude as hell for you to get an attitude off of some stuff that you did. Jen says that was after the fact. Whatever Jen was talking about, basically it sounded like Dr. Jen was team Emily. Okay, in Nicole's face. Nicole says no, something about going on a diet and shutting her mouth. So I'm like, what do you mean you go on a diet and shut your mouth? Is this shade towards the fact that Emily is bigger than you? What's that? So then Heather, Gina, and Emily, okay? Like I said, they're my girls at the moment. We'll see how the season, goes. But at the moment, I'm liking them. I felt bad for Shannon a little bit because she confided in Noella. But Noella eventually walks off to go greet Heather's daughter, Max. Girl, I said that was an awkward scene there. Girl, Shannon just stood there looking so stupid. I said, dang, I gotta feel bad for Shannon. Y'all ain't do Shannon like that, girl. Y'all ain't do that like Y'all ain't do that like that. What else? Shannon and Gina started bickering again because y'all know Gina and Emily went outside. So they came back inside the house and Gina says, I'm not going to talk about it, Emily. I'm sorry. She tells, not Emily, but she tells Shannon, like, girl, I'm not going to talk about it because Shannon is still trying to talk about it because Shannon is really disappointed in the fact that they gave her their word. Okay, and that they wouldn't say anything and they ended up talking. So this is when Emily uses the opportunity to let her know the real villain here is Nicole, because you were right. It was Nicole. Nicole did sue Terry. And baby, This is when Heather brought Terry from the back. Honey, I said, baby, Terry trying to catch him a cute nap because he got to get up early in the morning for surgery. And y'all done pull this man out the back to come and have a conversation about a lawsuit that took place umpteen years ago. All right. So he asked her, when he finds out about Nicole, right? He says, why didn't you tell me that you sued me? Why didn't you tell me that? And then they asked her, then Nicole says that she was pushed by her attorneys and then started crying. I said, girl, we're not going to sit up here and cry. As much as you've been sitting up here laughing and smiling and cheesing in this lady's face for I don't know how many years, how long they say they had been friends, like 6 years. You up here smiling and cheesing. Don't be trying to cry now. Right. And then Terry says, but it's all good, though, because I'm glad that you dropped the lawsuit. OK, nothing even came from it. I'm glad. And then they started laughing in her face. I thought that was hilarious. Because in this moment, this lady's not at a place to laugh. This lady is hurt based on the actions of Emily and them. Okay, she feels embarrassed. So that's why she crying, but y'all laughing in her face, trying to smooth it over. And I just thought that was funny. All right. So then Nicole says that she was hurt. And Heather says that, listen, she don't want her to leave. Like, if you leave, it's going to disappoint me. And we don't care about it. It's old, whatever. It didn't go anywhere. She dropped the lawsuit. Whoop de whoop. Right. So then Heather pulls Gina and Shannon to the side, and Gina immediately starts apologizing for yelling. And then Heather says, oh, girl, I don't give a fuck about you yelling in my home. This is home. It ain't like I heard you all the way on the other side for real anyway. Let's be clear about that. But what I do have an issue with is that you coming into my home on this night when I invited you to talk shit about my husband. That's a problem. Girl, when I tell you Heather was handling the girls on the outside of the house around the corner, she was handling them. Heather goes on to tell her that people say, don't shoot the messenger. But I'm going to tell you right now, shoot the messenger. Shoot them down to the ground, honey. And then she goes over there to get on Shannon, like, I'm going to get on you next, girl. And tells her, now, listen, Gina would have never known the mother thing had you not opened your mouth, girl. So that, no, don't you say nothing to me, ma'am. Don't you say nothing in my house or outside my house on my property. Be quiet. Because had you did what you needed to do and been a friend, girl, they wouldn't have even known anything. Girl, Shannon and Heather had me rolling. Shannon tries to talk, and then Heather says, excuse me, girl. She walked out, said, this is the queen of walk away. Not twirl away, girl, but walk away. She's out of here, give me a second, and walks out. So then Shannon goes on to find Heather because it's imperative for her to apologize to this woman. But Heather is hurt because she thought that they could have been real friends. And at this point, she's very, very disappointed in this girl. So Shannon says she's loyal and trustworthy. And Heather said, girl, no, you're not. You're not loyal and trustworthy. Shannon says that Heather put her finger in her face. Like, but you keep putting your finger in my face. Like, girl, now you're trying to change the subject when you know this damn lady mad. Okay, so then Heather says, girl, don't try and say I'm pointing my finger in your face when you know you fake, girl, in so many words, right? She says, how about this? Let's just be done. Let's just be done. We've tried this over and over and over and over again. Let's be done. Heather walks off on her again. Girl, when I saw Miss Shannon take this walk of shame down this hallway, damn, I said, oh, it was too funny, but I felt bad for her all at the same time. I was like, oh, chile, this is messy. Right, Lisa straight from a horror film before they do harm to the. What's that? Them laughing was wicked. Who was laughing? I'm trying to recall. I wonder if they are still friends with Nicole in real time because that scene with them forgiving her seemed staged. Interesting. Could be. Heather, oh, y'all talking about the laugh that Heather and her husband gave to the lady. Hilarious. Heather pulled those girls to the side like she was their mother. She did. And she got in their arses and sent them back. There's a time and place for discussions, and so tired of a nice party going bust from confrontations. That's true. Excuse me. That's true. And Heather also brings that up towards the end of the episode. This did not have to come into play. I do not understand why Gina felt it was so important to get this off her chest when she could have waited until this was over, called up Heather because I'm sure she got her number. Thanks for inviting me, but I noticed you had Nicole at the house, and I just wanted to let you know that some information came to me from Shannon to that. So it could have been a better way to handle it. She still was going to be wrong either way, especially in Shannon's eyes for sharing a story that Shannon never wanted her to share. So yeah, they could have definitely read the room on that one. Definitely could have read the room, child. I love Shannon, but she should have told Heather from the jump. I agree, especially with you being on this show, you know, the history of how they try to make you look and stuff. So she could have did better. Gina wanted to keep her orange. Girl, let me tell you, Gina and Emily came in and they got it poppington. They got it poppington right out the gate this season. That forgiving scene was odd, especially how Heather initially reacted, shutting down the cameras and dinner, but easily forgave the chick. I was still having an issue with her not saying who she was. Oh, that's a good point. That was, yes. Okay, now you got me thinking, Nikki. That is very awkward because you look like you were really upset. You said you didn't want any filming and things, but I will say this. I wonder if she went back there to have a conversation with her husband because she was upset maybe. And when he realized it, he probably made her feel like it wasn't that bad of a issue, considering the fact that she dropped the lawsuit. So from that moment, she probably felt like it was easier for her to bring her husband out and for her to come and have that conversation with her. But it does still seem a bit odd, though. Well, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, help Heather out a little bit. What else? Gina had a show to produce. She did. Gina, to me, was just too eager to tell Heather truth be told, her loyalty was still to Shannon because she's only known Heather 20 minutes. Truth. I see your thoughts there. However, right, I see your thoughts, but I'm still feeling like the reason she did that, granted, loyalty should have been to Shannon. I think she just was still not cool with Shannon the whole time, even though Shannon thought they was cool. I think she wasn't featuring her. And it also made me wonder if, you know how some people hold grudges for a long time? And just like with Potomac, I feel like Ashley was holding a grudge with Wendy for some stuff that happened last season. So it was nothing for Ashley to go and have that sit down with Wendy, because to her, that's like me getting back at you for what you did to me last season, right? Because Ashley is like that, right? So it made me think the same thing about Gina. You thought you and Gina was cool because Gina said that, but then Gina was waiting for the right opportunity to kind of, get you back for what you did. It was the kiss on the forehead for me, laugh my fucking ass off. I felt the way about them hugging on her and consoling her just because she cried, trying to play like she's the victim of it. But at the end of the day, you could have just said something. You've been befriending this lady, being all in this lady's house, he and ha. You had no intentions on saying that. That you sued her husband. Heather and Terry had to go research his lawsuits before they really reacted. Ooh, child, probably so. Probably so, child. You could be right. Let me keep going. Emily invited Heather to lunch with she and Gina. Shannon is forming a friendship with Noella because she was the only person that actually had her back, so she didn't feel like she was out there on the island by herself. Shannon says that she will accept the fact that she played a part in this. Okay, cool. She will never not accept the fact that she played a part in this, but she still wants her apology to be accepted and for her to be able to come back into the fold with the ladies, right? Heather and her husband, Terry, wasn't tripping on the boob job because it wasn't that serious, he said, and it wasn't even a thing, you know, on the boob job lawsuit, all of that. He wasn't tripping. He wanted to know, though, what was the motivation from Shannon for bringing that up from a decade ago? And that's where you have the major issue for me, which makes it for me not necessarily be Team Shannon and not fully see it from her point of view. Why would you even bring this conversation into play? Because what if Heather did know about the lawsuit and continued to still be this lady friend? What is it to you? And if you were so concerned, you could have pulled Heather to the side. So it does sound like she was holding this as ammunition to be used at a later time throughout the season. What else? Heather says that she knew they were friends and it's none of Shannon's business. And she thinks that she wanted to hurt them. Them meaning Heather and her husband, the Dubrows, right? What else? They also learned that Heather spent $36,000 on this party, child, and they didn't even get to have dinner. Heather, girl, you could have called me. I would have took all kind of doggy bags to the people. Okay, Heather, call me next time you feel like you're finna serve you a 36K, because these ladies don't know how to act, but I don't know how to act. Okay, Heather, so give me a call next time you're finna have some over there at the house, girl, because I'll be there. Now, Jen and the husband. So her husband Ryan, to me, that's when I asked, like, is he a stay-at-home husband? I pretty much told y'all what they talked about. Her not always being available to her kids when they want her to be available a bit more. Okay. Emily and her husband, we learned that he got sick. He was in the hospital. Sounds like he may have had C-19. And from that conversation, they thought that he wasn't going to make it, which brought in the conversation about his faith and his spirituality and his connection to how higher power, to God and everything, right? So she started thinking about her daughters and thinking about herself and how she isn't that much of a spiritual person or religious person, but she always wants her daughters to be able to, like, or her kids, I don't know if she has only daughters, but she wants her kids to be able to have structure, faith, and peace and stuff. So, you know, they had to sit down and talked about all of that or whatever. So I'm like, they should be able to have it. Just because you're not that spiritual or you're not in that place don't mean that they can't be in that place because their daddy is there. Like, I didn't really understand that overall conversation, but okay. The doctor's husband seems detached. Interesting. I didn't catch that he was detached, but I guess you can say that when he doesn't like to feel or acknowledge certain situations. I think that's kind of like what she was touching on with him. So I guess that would be detached in. I think Shannon's goal was to make Nicole have to confront Heather, but Gina jumped the gun. Ooh, because that makes me think that she was going to use Nicole as a pawn to possibly be on the outs with Heather so that she probably could get closer and be closer to Heather. Okay. It was funny how Noella was like, I'm here with you, Shannon. Then bam, next second, oh, hey, bisexual daughter. And left Shannon standing there. I holler. I was like, girl, that is so embarrassing to me. That is so embarrassing, girl, trying to confide in somebody and they just shift their attention. It makes you feel like, girl, was you really listening to me just now? Were you hearing me? I don't like Emily's husband. He always puts her down, make her feel bad. And I don't like the way he treats her. Oh, okay. Well, I'll be learning that. The date seems like it went well, but I don't see him enough to really know. So I'll be learning that. Lisa Lee says, honey, Emily's husband was a messy in the past. Very mean and nasty. Ooh. Well, he must have changed his mind after he was out there being in the hospital, honey, and almost losing his life. That's interesting. That could have changed him. I would hope that it's changed him. Not him talking about his relationship and God. He believe he gonna return after he gone, honey. But you've been out here being a whole fool, a nasty, mean mess, girl. Not you believing you finna come back. He did have it last season. They filmed on the beginning of the panty. Okay, gotcha. It's clear Jen is getting tired of her husband. He shows more love to the damn children. Oh, to the Chihuahua. Girl, that was just, let me tell you, that Chihuahua is over him. I don't care what nobody say. The way he was kissing that Chihuahua in that restaurant, that baby was like, please get out my face. I don't even know why I'm in here with all these humans. Child, I got more human connections than I have dog connections, child. What is going on? Somebody give me free. That's what the Chihuahua wanted. So we get to Heather and Gina. Okay, so Gina is apologetic again. And I'm like, Gina, cool it down and stop. All right, she heard you enough, girl. Don't be like Shannon. So Emily says that she told Shannon to take accountability for that since they are just now, meeting Heather. Emily says that she told Shannon to take accountability for her actions and she's just now meeting Heather, which makes sense because it's like, well, I ain't gonna say it makes sense, but I'll say that Shannon already knows this. And she says that she will accept the part that she played in this situation, right? So Heather says it's time and places for things like this. And that wasn't the place. And I agree. But this is when Gina took the opportunity to kind of like open up about herself. And I was confused because I was like, Gina, girl, where's we going with this? But it made sense by the end. So this is what Gina says. Gina says that in the past, when she was with her ex-husband, she ended up going to like a barbecue or something, right? She goes to this barbecue with her ex-husband. Come to find out, now he was her husband at the time, the barbecue he took her to was his side chick's barbecue. And everybody there knew what was going on but her. So when she got home, this is when she learned the details about, oh man, my man is actually with this lady. So that was very embarrassing for her. So she thought in that moment when she knew what she knew, and we're having this party, she felt like everybody knew but Heather. So it kind of triggered her, sent her back to the space she was in, and she only wanted to do for Heather what she felt other people should have done for her, which is let her know ahead of time so she won't be around here looking like a fool. So when Gina said that, I understood, right? Heather wanted to, what else? Heather gets a bit misty-eyed because she started talking about her family, talking about how much she loves her family, and that's what you're not going to play with. You're not going to play with my family, right? Heather wanted to know what Shannon's goal was, and she says the only word I could think of, the only thing that comes to my mind is the letter J, which makes me believe she was trying to say the word jealous. That's the only thing that came to her mind was old girl being jealous, and that's that. So Heather says that Shannon can come back, did she say? No, she said Heather came back into her house. And when she said this part right here, y'all, this is when it kind of like made me think for real. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm clear on whose side I'm standing on, right? Heather says that Shannon came back into her house and told her that she told them not to say anything. And she thought that she could trust Gina and Emily. But the issue is you told Heather to not trust these same ladies. So how is it that you can go out, tell them stuff, thinking you can trust them, but then telling your good girl, Miss Heather, to not trust them? You know they're not paying the rent. Like, you know that's not making no sense. Like, you know that's not even connected. So when she is, there it is, okay? Heather not stupid by far. So when Heather started clocking certain things, I was like, okay, Shannon, girl. I was feeling a little bad. I was a little bit conflicted. But now I see you was being shady, sis. Okay, girl, we see you. Let me see what y'all saying. Gina, I think, has been ready to jump ship on her relationship with Shannon because she's not that liked, but just didn't want to have a good out. She used this ish with Heather for sure to her advantage. You may have a point there, Gigi, for sure. That's probably exactly what she did. And when I was sitting there watching it, I was like, Heather's so straightforward to me and honest from just seeing her these 2 episodes. I don't know her fully. It made me feel like I don't want to see Heather and Gina go at it. I'm like, I hope they actually have a genuine friendship throughout the season, because I'm like, girl, I hate to see when Heather gets on your end. Okay. Maybe Shannon was testing them. I don't know. I mean, that could be true too. That could be true too. I don't know if it was a test, the way she was walking outside and coming back in trying to strongly apologize and stuff, but it could have been. That's why I was on Gina's side, because this is a personal experience for her, and this really happened to her. Gotcha. I gotcha. That's why Shannon is a snake in the grass, because this is how she moves. She tells people all type of stuff behind their back. Child, that's a messy Miss Shannon. I thought I was gonna like her coming into the season, but I see that I'm not. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, Miss Shannon, girl. That's messy. That's messed up. But that's really all that I got, y'all. I wanted to come to you guys real quick with a review on Real Housewives of Orange County. I know I did a joint review on last week for both Orange County and Ultimate Girls Trip, right? So I just decided to go ahead and separate the two. Yeah, so once I end this live, I'm about to get ready and go ahead and hop on and do Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. So I'm going to do that one at 3:30. But I thank you guys so much for hopping on, okay, and catching this review. And don't forget to like on your way out, comment, subscribe, share my videos, all of that great stuff. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Bye-bye.